Michael Chavello ringside with Mark the Hammer Castadinian. Making his way to the ring is the wonder kicker from Wollongong, Steve Douet. If Douet can pull off a victory tonight against Jenk Behic, he will become a virtual star overnight. Mark the Hammer, Steve Douet, one of the real movers and groovers of the last year in Australian kickboxing.
Well, Steve Douet certainly a fighter with a lot of promise and a lot of ability. Have a look for his aerial techniques, his aerial kicking. Certainly his highlight and his main asset.
Well, that music and that clapping from the crowd, it can only mean one thing. The emergence of the showstopper, the pin-up boy of Oz kickboxing, the great white shark, Jenk Behic. Tonight, Behic faces the biggest challenge of his career when he steps up to the plate to face Steve Douet from Wollongong. Jenk Behic being led to the ring by Blitz Hall of Famer Johnny Sheeder. What a sight it is to see Jenk Behic fighting here tonight, Hammer.
Well, Jenk Behic's one of the most spectacular fighters on the Australian circuit at the moment. Certainly a fighter that will soon, no doubt, be campaigning overseas as well as fighting locally. Really an action-packed, explosive fighter is Behic.
Here's the showstopper. Let's go to ring announcer Andy Raymond.
Fighting at 68 kilos under USA rules over 6 2-minute rounds. In the blue corner, he hails from Wollongong, New South Wales, a two-time world amateur champion, Steve Douet. And from the suburbs of Melbourne, trained by Blitz Hall of Famer John Sheeder, he is the great white shark, Jenk Behic.
Well, you can feel the excitement in the air here at the Melbourne Convention Centre. The great white shark, Jenk Behic, against Steve Douet from Wollongong. Two of Australia's wonder kickers in centre ring. Your third man at the sound of the bell will be referee Bryce Birtwistle, of course, your former trainer, Hammer.
Well, certainly a man that has held the pads for me on many, many occasions. Bryce Birtwistle, of course, taking me to my dream of the Australian title. And what a hard trainer he is, and a very fair and hard man. I'm sure he's going to do a great job in centre ring, Michael. Not that I'm biased at all, but he's a great man and my mentor for many years.
All is in readiness for the first round of action. The pin-up boy, Jenk Behic, a real favourite with our female fans, up against Steve Douet from Wollongong. Here we go in the first round of action.
Well, Behic himself, a very explosive kicker. You can expect to see some nice high kicking coming from Behic. But Douet, a former Taekwondo state and national champion, Michael. Of course, he's going to, Taekwondo being an Olympic sport, 2000.
Jenk Behic coming off a decision victory over Daniel Dawson, who we saw in our last fight. Of course, we last saw Behic here on Fox Sports when he went up against Paul Hancock in Sydney. Dropped Hancock to the canvas about 10 times or more up there in Sydney before finally putting him away. Thunderous right hook there from Douet. Found nothing but fresh air. Launches that high right round kick.
Well, Douet from the Danny Jones stable in Sydney. This is his first time in Melbourne, I believe. Fighting in front of a big crowd. I wonder how the nerves will be affecting him in the early rounds and whether that will lead to any slip-ups.
Jenk Behic, we saw him about a week ago. He was just getting over a bout of the flu. But looking good so far here tonight. As always, will be pumped and primed by his trainer, Hall of Famer Johnny Sheeder. There's a nice right hand to the jaw from Steve Douet.
Behic has been plagued with the flu for the past couple of weeks, Michael. And speaking to him earlier this evening, he did voice his concerns about that. Maybe feeling a little lethargic, but let's hope he can put it together for the 6 rounds that this fight is scheduled for.
One of the real entertainers of Australian kickboxing, the showstopper Jenk Behic. And Douet, as Mark said, making his Melbourne debut and wanting to really stamp himself on this Melbourne audience. Of course, Melbourne is the capital of kickboxing in Australia. And the hometown of our very own super promoter, Tarek Solak. Jenk Behic just trying to end it there with the next kick at the end of the first round, Hammer.
Well, a good even first round, as has been the norm with the past couple of fights. But Behic getting the feel of Steve Douet, just seeing what he's got to offer. Douet very much showing Behic a lot of respect at the moment, so that led to a fairly even first round. 13 punches Behic, 11 Douet, 10 kicks Behic, and only 4 to Steve Douet. So that's the tale of the statistics. We'll see how it progresses.
You gotta work. What about? Tight. You feel good? Just before.
We see Behic pushing Douet back into the red corner. A nice high kick off the lead leg there by Steve Douet. Behic coming in, working the body. A couple of good connecting body shots, and punctuating that flurry with a round kick was Behic.
We're underway in the second round of action. Steve Douet, of course, won the super welterweight world title last year when he defeated Eric Marshall from the USA in a full contact bout, above waist kicks only. And after that bout, in an interview with International Kickboxer magazine, he stated that he wanted to challenge the Great White Shark. And here they are tonight, courtesy of super promoter Tarek Solak. Nice right hand just caught Jenk Behic on the side of the head. There was that glancing, searing left hook from Douet. Nice right uppercut there from Douet. Found the target. Behic just sticks out the left-legged front kick. A real war here in centre ring. Almost 40 seconds down in the second round, and one just south of the border there for Jenk Behic.
Well, Douet just catching Behic a little low. That will give Behic a break
Time.
of a minute or so.
2 minutes.
How do you see it for the Shark so far, Hammer?
Well, he was certainly on the back foot a little late to start the second round, with Steve Douet opening up like a house on fire. There you see that low kick just connecting a little low. He's gone for the inside thigh, a little too high up though, and it's caught Behic in the groin. But Steve Douet opening up well and truly in the second round here now.
Okay. What?
We're recommencing action here in the second round. Steve Douet in the pink trunks. Behic just turning and launching a right round kick.
Well, Behic turned there with an attempt to possibly launch a spinning heel kick, but realising his distance was out, then just threw the round kick off it.
Douet comes out slugging now, forcing Behic back into the blue corner. Here goes Douet, really unloading the heavy artillery. I believe the feeling out process is well and truly over. Behic ripping away to the body and then to the legs. Jenk Behic has a real war in his hands. Now it's Douet back into the blue corner. Behic misses with her uppercut. Slams the right round kick into the ribs, Jenk Behic. The Great White Shark, look out for that ironclad right uppercut of his. Slams one leg kick to the rear left thigh.
Well, Behic putting it together. Landed a good solid jab there in that encounter on Douet. Douet trying to unleash some of those whipping overhand hooks.
Behic with the inside leg kick to the inside left thigh. Douet responds one to the outside left thigh, Hammer.
Just have a look at Behic's lead-up jab, mind. Well, he gets it in almost every time.
There's the end of the second round of action. How do you see that one?
Well, Steve Douet certainly come back well and truly in the second round. That one was just about even, I'd have to say, with Douet taking it right up to Behic in the second round.
Ice anywhere? Legs good? Breathe up. Breathe up. Don't worry about the water. Don't worry about the water. Sit back, relax. Sit back, relax. Breathe up. Got to catch him. Got to catch him with the hook, Jenk. What he gives you, got to give him back. Understand? Look at me. You feeling good or not? Yeah. All right.
Okay, here we see Behic just working that inside thigh, hands. Douet coming back and trying to keep on Behic to cut him off, to work those in-close hooks, which he has a lot of effect. That was a nice left hand there from Douet, just caught Jenk Behic sweetly. There's Behic, nice hand combination, finishing with a kick, but here comes Douet. Behic trying valiantly to keep him away with that front kick, but Douet powers through with those looping hands, and he did catch Behic napping a little there at the end of the second round.
Opening up there for turning hook kick, Jenk Behic. It was Douet who was the more productive in the last round, scoring 30 connecting punches to Behic's 20. But Behic, on the other hand, 15 connecting kicks to Douet's 7. And Douet comes out slugging with the leather again. Just ripping away the left hand to the body. Another turning hook kick there from Jenk Behic. Inside leg kick from Douet. Behic goes to the outside right thigh. Well, Douet really favouring those hands at the moment. Sticks out the left. Behic just catches him, flicks him with the inside leg kick. Behic now continues to pulverise the ribs off the right hand. But Douet doesn't look too fazed by what the Great White's thrown at him. There's a nice front kick to the face, then down to the body. One of Behic's real strong points, Hammer, is that he's able to work high, low, high, low.
Well, obviously that's a trademark of a good fighter. Vary the heights of the attacks in an effort to confuse your opponent and not know what's going to come next. You chop low and then you attack the head. So you chop the legs and then come up high to the head. And that makes your opponent's job very hard to try and pick what's coming next.
Well, this is a much better round so far for Jenk Behic. Just getting clipped there, though, by the left hook. Inside leg kick there from Behic. Nice turning kick combination there and a thunderous overhand right. Just whistled past the brow of Jenk Behic. Here comes Behic now with the body shots. They're going for it toe-to-toe. It's a real slugfest here in centre ring. There's the right uppercut from Douet. And this huge crowd coming alive. So many celebrities on hand here at the Melbourne Convention Centre. The high right round kick from the Shark. Then goes the front kick to the midsection. Jenk Behic pulling out all the stops in this round. Nice uppercut from Douet. Douet just sizing him up with a big right hand. But Behic wants to go toe-to-toe. They're unleashing the heavy artillery. They can't hear the bell. It's pandemonium in centre ring. Listen to the crowd go wild.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are in for an absolute war here. This is exciting stuff, Michael.
I tell you what, Hammer. This is what true world-class kickboxing is all about.
Well, all the celebrities sitting ringside here at this world-class event. Michael Gudinski, etc. Michael, you've got the list there.
Michael Gudinski, Nick Chinopoulos, you talk about them, they're here.
They're all sitting ringside and they're getting an absolute value for money fight, as you are right at home in your living rooms watching this on Fox Sports.
Things he's done, all right?
We see Behic just seizing up Douet, working the body, then going down to the legs. Douet caught napping a little there, not answering. He's got to come back and answer some of those shots of Behic. Behic just peppering away constantly. Here comes Douet now. He's got Behic up against the ropes in the blue corner, lining up that big right, but it wasn't enough and it didn't come early enough. And Behic just answers it once again. 48 connecting punches, Behic, 31 Douet. It's a crackerjack round, 17 connecting kicks. Behic, only 6 to Douet, so they're really working hard in centre ring.
Round 4, this place is going absolutely bananas. They've erupted at the Melbourne Convention Centre. Jenk Behic just stumbling backwards on that occasion. Nothing but a slip, says Bryce Birtwistle.
And Danny Jones is going absolutely bananas in the blue corner.
What a crackerjack semi-main event brought to you by Tarek Solak. There's a right uppercut from Douet. Behic launches the high right round kick. Douet rattling off that right uppercut. They came close but no cigar for the man from Wollongong. Behic just forces him back with a couple of hooks. There's the right uppercut again from Douet. A nice leg kick to the lead leg from the man from Wollongong. Behic just slaps the leg kick, goes to the body. A rib attack from Behic, then launches the high left round kick. A front kick didn't find the target. The right uppercut did from Douet. There's the uppercut again from Douet. That right uppercut really working a treat for him. One of his favoured weapons. Douet not really unloading with his high kicks that we know he has. There's a rib kick off the right leg from Behic. There's the high right round kick from Douet.
Behic's getting a little too focused in on the body of Douet. He's going to start working the head a little bit more, Michael, for my liking. He's just getting focused on trying to drill Steve Douet's body. He's got to go upstairs. Because Douet is carrying his guard low with his elbows protecting his ribs well and truly. He's aware of Behic's attempt to try and take his ribs.
I'll tell you what, this is one hell of a hard fight for the great white shark, Jenk Behic. 1 minute 45 down here in the 4th round. Behic a 1-2 to the chin, finishing with the right hand. But look at Steve Douet, he's got more hooks in the tackle box so far in this fight. Behic clubbing away to the left ribs again.
This is where Behic could be getting a little tired because of that bout of the flu.
Well, there's the end of the 4th round of action. I'll tell you what, Hammer, we have a real war in our hands.
Crackerjack fight here in centre ring.
Stretch out those legs. What round is it? 4. What round is it? Coming 4? Find out if you don't know. 5th round. We've got 2 to go. Understand? We've got to win the next 2 to win. We don't need a knockout, we just want to win, you understand? He can't match you with the kicks, he's trying to work the body. His right uppercut, he's catching you with it.
Every time. All right, so tuck that head in.
Body, head, then cut the leg.
Put those combos.
2 more rounds.
And that's the words of wisdom from Hall of Fame winner John Sheeter. They just want to win because they know that Steve Douet is one tough customer, and to take him out with a KO is at this stage probably looking a little unlikely. So Behic really has to keep working. 32 connecting punches, Behic 30, Steve Douet. 22 connecting kicks, Jenk Behic, and 8 to Douet. So certainly they are working very, very hard indeed, these 2 boys.
We're underway in round number 5, scheduled for 6. Jenk Behic against Steve Douet, the one to kick it from Wollongong against the great white shark. Douet still wildly firing out that left hook. Behic clubs away to the head, found the target with a short left uppercut. Johnny Sheeter telling Behic not to go for a knockout, but to keep the work rate up nice and high and tally up the points here in the final 2 rounds.
Behic's got to keep moving. He can't be a sitting target for Douet. He's got to keep up on the balls of his feet and angling off.
Here goes Behic now unloading in the neutral corner, but Douet fires out the jab, getting himself out of trouble. The close range hook kick there from Behic, then he wore a straight left hand, the leg kick there from Douet.
That was a slip.
Douet will show Jenk Behic no respect whatsoever.
Well, Douet, a world champion, amateur world champion in his own right. Of course, he's been around the block more than once, and he knows he is in for a torrid fight in there tonight. But Behic probably looking a little lethargic than what we're used to seeing him. He usually explodes with his kicks a lot more, and maybe that bout of illness has taken a bit of zest out of his feet.
There's that solid right uppercut from Steve Douet. Johnny Sheeter warned Jenk Behic about that one between rounds. 1 minute 25 down here in the 5th. Behic just clubbing away again over in the neutral corner. Nothing much behind that right uppercut from Douet, so he goes downstairs to the legs. Behic flattering away at the inside and outside leg kicks. The high right round kick by the Shark. Walks straight into another right uppercut, so he goes to the ribs.
Behic working solidly. Douet comes back. He plays possum. He lies on the ropes there and lets Behic just kick off at him a little bit, and then he comes back with an answer.
These 2 men have been through a war. They're going to the trenches here in the 5th, sucking up the air. There's the end of the round, Hammer.
Well, it's nice another even round. I tell you what, there's nothing in this fight. It's going to go right down to the last round.
What are you doing? I'm going to stop it. You don't pick up the next round, I'm going to stop it after that round, right? It's finished.
Come on, mate.
Let's go.
Stop the fight, I'll walk out the gym.
No, you won't. Your work, man. You stand there, hands down here, big sloppy punches. You've got to work. You've got to work.
You've got him, mate. You've got him.
Come on.
Well, Danny Jones saying he's going to stop the fight after the next round. Of course, that is the last round. So very clever tactics there from Danny Jones on Steve Douet. But nevertheless, Douet, he's putting up a very, very good fight indeed. It's fairly much even all down the line. See Behic coming back with that nice high kick. Douet answering with that sharp uppercut of his. Douet trying to come back and drill that uppercut of his own. But Douet just a little tight, having those elbows in nice and close and not letting Behic get through. 38 connecting punches, Behic that round. 24 Douet, so Behic pegging Jenk back just slightly. 15 connecting kicks, Jenk to 7 Douet.
Jenk Behic walks straight into a high left round kick to open up the 6th and final round of action.
Well, how tough is Jenk Behic, Michael? He's taken a few heavy knocks here tonight, and he just keeps on pushing forward.
There's that right uppercut from Steve Douet, the inside leg kick to the inside left thigh. That one found the target sweetly. Behic just waiting in with the left hand, clubbed down to the ribs. Spare ribs, anyone? There might be a few on Steve Douet after this fight.
Behic's got to come overhand right. Douet's carrying his hands very low when he gets work to the body. Behic can roll that hand over.
Look at them go. Listen to the ovation from this audience. We have a slug-a-thon in the centre of the ring. Neither man taking backward steps. Jenk Behic just rips away to the body, drops the right hand to the breadbasket, then comes over the top. Almost a minute down here in the sixth and final round. Behic just missing with the left hook, then digs the right hand to the body, the right uppercut, the shark beginning to unload the heavy artillery now. Blood streaming from the nose of the great white Jenk Behic. A lackadaisical right uppercut there from Steve Douet. He needs more power. Douet just sticking out the left hand and another one.
Well, Douet's got to pick up the work rate because Behic's coming home in the storm.
Behic is riding this one home like a steam train. Here he goes, ripping away to the ribs again. Steve Douet hits some bother over in the red corner.
And Behic just continuously piling up the points. The punches that get through are the punches that score. So then we're not counting anything that hits the gloves. We're only counting
what an absolute
kicks and
war.
punches.
It's a war hammer. I tell you what, these two men have been through it all. They've taken more shots than a drunk during happy hour, and they're still going. There's the big right hand to end it from Steve Douet. That's the end of the fight. It's been a war. It's gone down to the judges, and I'm glad, Hammer, that I'm not one of those judges.
I tell you what, Michael, Jenk Behic, though, he certainly had his work rate going. That was a crackerjack fight. I take my hat off to Steve Douet and Danny Jones. The boys have come down from Sydney in the blue corner, and they've put up a great battle here and tested the great white shark out. They pushed him to his limit, and geez, I tell you what, you couldn't get a more entertaining fight. 64 connecting punches in that last round from Jenk Behic. Steve Douet, slightly less. He backed off just a tad. Here we see Behic working one of those 64 connecting punches. What a work rate, 64 punches, Michael.
I'll tell you what, Hammer.
Going like an absolute soul machine with those arms of his.
Look at the
Here comes Douet. He tries to come back. He's got a very tight defence, Steve Douet. Brings his elbows in nice and close. Caught Jenk sweetly with that uppercut. 29 scoring punches in that round from Douet as opposed to 64 Behic. 7 kicks apiece, so they were down the wire with the kicks, but I think the punches are going to tell the story, and it's got to, if that's the case, it should theoretically go the red corner, Michael.
Well, I'll tell you what, for my liking, Douet started the bout on a great note, taking it early on, but then Behic really powered home, Hammer. And don't the stats show it? As we said, 64 connecting punches in the final round to Douet's 29. What a cracker of a war, and a standing ovation from several areas in the crowd at the end of that fight.
Well, I tell you what, a standing ovation is nothing short of what this fight should have got. Here comes Douet. He's pushing up. He's trying. He's just barreling back into that red corner, trying to work the body, as was his game plan all through that fight. Just pushing onto the body. And there's the end of the bout, and we await the decision.
Let's go to ring announcer Andy Raymond.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous points victor from the red corner, the great white shark, Jenk Behic.
Well, some disappointed looks there from Danny Jones in the corner of Steve Douet, but I have to agree with the judges, Hammer. I'm giving this one to the shark.
Well, just on the statistics alone, this the very lovely statistician we've got working with us here, Michael, keeps a close eye on those connecting punches, and that is what told the story in the end. Just too much of a work rate coming from the great white shark. He worked away and took the victory, and a well-deserved one at that.